Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another aircraft that came with the patch, the Mirage F1 CT. So make sure to subscribe, be a member, and yeah, click the little bell icon to see the other videos. I already posted a video on the F14 and on the Lim 5 yesterday, so make sure to check that out. And today we're going to see the F1 right now, and after probably an hour after this release, we're going to see the Su-17 M4. So let's get into it. So the F1 CT, so it's a Mirage. Basically, it is, of course, a Mirage F1. So it is basically the same Mirage that we already have as the C. But this variant in real life was a ground attack kind of variant of the Mirage F1C, you know. So it is, it has some more payloads for air to ground. In general, a very wide selection of bombs and stuff. So Mark 84s, Mark 83s, some French bombs as well. So a lot of bombs and stuff. The radar is a little bit different as well. I don't think I noticed anything different about it in the air-to-air mode. I know that in real life he had more air-to-ground modes and stuff that will help you guide yourself through mountains and stuff like that with the terrain avoidance systems, with the radar, and better navigation systems, and just it's a more modern package for air-to-ground. In-game, the main difference is that it can carry more bombs, and it doesn't have the second DEFA cannon. So it only has one cannon with about 135 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So it is kind of the same, you know. It has this amazing skin that I love. You know, it's really cool, and it has the fuel probe for air-to-air refueling. But in general, it's the same, you know. If you are trying to get one of the Mirages, I think the F1C, the normal one, it's going to be a little bit better in general, just because you have two cannons. But this one, it feels a little bit lighter, you know, so you have to consider that as well. I'm using just the magics at these first two games, and after that I'm going to do two games with the Super 530F. But that's just because there is kind of a bug right now that they are working on to fix it. When you get the rentals that we receive as a content creator, we cannot build a custom loadout, so I only have in some aircraft I only have the stock loadouts, you know. So in the Mirage I cannot take the magics together with the Super 530 until I actually research it and buy it. So yeah, just don't mind that, but it doesn't change much, you know. For the armament, of course, as I said, we have one DEFA cannon, which is alright, you know, but it's a DEFA, you know. It's not the greatest cannon in the game, you know. It's kind of low muzzle velocity and low fire rate, kind of hard to hit sometimes. The performance of the aircraft helps a lot. I mean, it can take very high angles of attack sometimes, and it just helps a lot to actually, you know, just, you know, destroy everybody with it. And yeah, it's good, but it's not the best, you know. But yeah, the cannon is kind of problematic. Low ammo, low muzzle velocity, hard to hit sometimes. It does some damage, but it's complicated, to be honest with you. The missiles, of course, the bombs, various amount of bombs and stuff. You can do a lot of things with it, and it's just normal bombs, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. But the missiles, yeah, which are the main armament of this aircraft, of course, we have the Super 530, the normal 530, and the Magic 2. So the normal 530, of course, is a well-known missile, and it's kind of limited, you know. It's the early missiles that you're going to research it and stuff like that. So yeah, don't mind that too much. Of course, the Super 530 is until the enemy releases a chef, it's probably one of the best missiles, semi-active radar-guided missiles for shorter ranges in the game. You know, it's really good at turning and doing short-range stuff. But it has a problem with the monopulse seeker, that I have some videos about it as well that you can check out why they do that right now. and it just it's very sensitive to flares, as you're going to see in the to Chef, I mean, in the next two clips. But it doesn't mean that you cannot get kills. It's just a little bit harder because of the Chef. You know, everybody has Chef in top tier, so yeah. And the Magics too. Of course, they are probably the best missile IR missile in the game. There are some changes in the sensitivity to flares apparently, and the acceleration. I don't know, it feels a little bit different. All the missiles they feel a little bit different, okay? But the Magics are amazing. I mean, they don't have the IR CCM right now, which would be a system that they had in the real life to counter the flares and stuff. But it's still a very good all aspect missile, 35 Gs, and yeah, a very short range, but it is such a fast missile burning that it is ended up being very good at shorter ranges. You know, I still think that the R60 is better at shorter ranges, but in general, the Magic will have an advantage to until like 2 kilometers and stuff like that, to 500 meters and stuff like that. The R60 is a little bit better in dogfights and stuff like that, I feel like. But yeah, lighter missile and stuff like that. But yeah, it's your main armament, to be honest. You know, the Magics, you only carry two of them, but they are really the main armament of this aircraft. It's the best missile, one of the best missiles in top tier. So yeah, it's the main kind of thing that you're going to use to kill enemies. Of course, as I said before, we have the Super 530F, but he has these problems with Chef. I'm going to put on the screen right now. We have some devs said that it is being worked on, you know. So they are working on to understand how the Super 530F actually works in real life, and how it perceives Chef and how it ignores it, because there are some systems that it uses apparently to ignore Chef. But for now, it's just until they understand how it works and can implement it, it's going to take a little bit, and basically means that the Mirage will have this problem with the missiles. In the future, of course, we will receive more missiles like this, like the 530D on the Mirage 2000. So yeah, in the future it will be a little bit better, but for now it's kind of problematic. Doesn't mean that the Mirage is bad, you know, because of that. It's just kind of limited. You know, it's an aircraft that doesn't win many dogfights against most of the aircraft that you fight. Even though it's fast, it's really fast, and it can pull some good AOAs. But it's, you know, it's not the best thing ever. The cannons are kind of bad, but the missiles kind of work. So it's a very okay-ish aircraft. You know, it's not the best out there. The CT variant doesn't change much from the C. As I said, the only main difference that you see is the missing cannon that it has, and yeah, it's just more for the lineups basically, because I mean, it's a better aircraft for you to take in top tier to actually ground pound, because it can take more bombs and stuff. But it doesn't change much. It doesn't have any smart weapons or anything like that. In real life, it probably could take the laser-guided weaponry, like the Jaguar. But remember, all the Mirages, they don't carry the pods for their own designation of targets. So it ended up being a buddy lasing kind of situation, and kind of guiding kind of will not add this type of weapons for that type of thing. You can see that with the F5s, for example, or the F4s, for example, that it could take the GBU-12, which is like laser-guided weapon, but they don't have the laser-guided system to actually do their own laser designation. So it ended up being a kind of thing that you cannot do much with it, you know. So yeah, basically, as I said, ground version, attacker version of the Mirage F1C. Not much doing to it. It's basically the only Mirage that we can get right now until we receive the 2000. And I don't think the 2000 will come soon, you know, because it's the performance of that aircraft would be a little bit OP right now in dogfights and stuff. So I don't know if we're going to get it But as you see here, we got a kill with the Super 530. So it's not a bad missile. It's just that if the enemy knows that you're there, and normally they do because of the RWR, and normally they have chaff, the missile will just miss, and one chaff is enough for the missile to go out of the way of the aircraft. So it's kind of, it's, to be honest, I think this is one of the most beautiful aircraft in the game, but it's such a hard aircraft to fly that it's kind of meh, it's kind of not that good. I have a friend that even flew prefer to fly the Mirage 3 in the top tier than the Mirage F1, just because, it's the Mirage F1 is very complicated. In my opinion, I still prefer the Mirage F1. As you said, as you saw, I got 2 kills with the Super 530, and if I got the 2 magics still, I probably would have got more kills in this match. So yeah, it's not bad, it's just not every aircraft in the game has to be meta, all the aircraft they have their own kind of way to fly and way to use the weaponry, so ended up being a personal thing and a personal way that you fly an aircraft and the way that you like. Some people like to fly Mirages, some people like to fly MiGs, and so on and so on. So yeah, I don't think it's meta, but it is a lot of fun to fly this. The difficulty is a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.